by 5 games heading into tonight. Kyle Harrison gets the ball for the Crew. He's 7-1 with a 1.57 ERA. The Rockies counter with Jeffrey Springs. He's 3-6 with a 4.37 ERA. First pitch slated for 9:05. Turn to the Packers. They're going to open up their mandatory minicamp tomorrow in Green Bay. It's the only part of the offseason program that players can be fined for not attending. One guy sure to be there, wide receiver Christian Watson. He agreed to a new 4-year, $110 million contract last week. The guy that throws in the ball, Jordan Love, it was great to get the deal done.
Very happy. That was a very big deal. Very happy for him and his family and all the great things that will come from it. He's a guy that's going to keep working, keep attacking, and trying to improve on his craft. But he's been great since he got here, and I just can't wait to keep improving with him. Christian's the right guy.
Again, the Packers on the field for the first day of a 3-day minicamp tomorrow. They'll close out the offseason program next week with another round of OTAs.
Everyone should feel confident about their path forward. Exact Sciences, now Abbott, has teamed up with UW Athletics to help promote cancer prevention and early detection. The Exact Sciences Athletes Program is unique as it connects UW student athletes with the company's work to provide breakthroughs in cancer care and treatment. UW student athletes helping raise cancer awareness to make a difference in the Madison community. Learn more at uwbadgers.com/Exact Sciences Athletes.
Well, Wisconsin's recruiting class is up to 20 after another successful official visit weekend. Among the adds is 3-star wide receiver Chase Steele from Montana. Class now ranked number 13 in the country, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite. It includes 7 4-star players. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
The Rockies down to their last out.
Struck him out. The ball game is over. The Brewers have swept the Rockies in Denver for the first time since 2014.
And an absolute team effort here. Started with Drowan. Another good start by a Brewers starter. And obviously the offense comes alive for 17 hits. 9 of those extra base hits. That's the most extra base hits in a game for the Brewers this season.
Very tough place to play. They're very young, but it's hard to win a major league game on the road. It's hard to win a major league game, period. They take nothing for granted. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and we happen to come out, on top these 3 games.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
Some sound from the series finale yesterday. The Brewers completing the sweep at Coors Field. It's always funny listening to the broadcast talk about Coors. You'd think that they were playing on the moon. And I know that it's a bandbox and the ball flies, but, you give up a home run. Sure, like David Hamilton hits a home run in Colorado. And you're like, it's probably related to the ballpark or the thin air. Or one sneaks over the fence. I didn't look at the batted ball number. Yoho gave up a solo shot in the 9th yesterday. I didn't look at the exit velocity. It didn't look like a ball that was hit all that hard, right? It was a breaking ball that was down. It might have even been out of the zone. And the Rockies hitter just kind of gets the bat head around on it, carries out to dead center. So there are balls that fly at Coors, and it's a unique place. But on the broadcast, it's like, or you listen to the manager after the game, it's like they're playing on the moon. It's like it's still baseball, guys. It's still just a baseball field. But stupid things seem to always happen there. And Friday night, I was just furious following along with the game. I wasn't even watching. I was just looking at score notifications. I was laying in bed waiting to go to sleep. I was off on Friday. Had a family funeral and a family gathering. And then Friday night, I'm watching. I was furious. And the Brewers won. But that can be the Coors Field experience. So for the Brewers to get a sweep against the Rockies, who aren't all that good, still an impressive result this weekend, especially with some of the injuries and the ups and downs in those games. So that's where I want to start tonight. It's the Wisco Sports Show. My name is Grant Bills. I hope you had a great weekend. Happy to be back. I know I was off on Friday. Like I said, funeral got to see all of my family, extended family. So that was very nice. But, funerals are sad. So appreciate you letting me skirt up. Not that I asked. I just took the day off and left. But appreciate you not yelling at me on Twitter. Like sometimes happens. So that was Friday. Happy to be back. We'll start with the Brewers. There's a lot of other random things that I want to get to tonight. I actually have a lot of Packers content if you're interested. I'm not going to yell at you about the Packers for an hour and a half if you don't want to talk about that. But some really good Packers guests on with Bill earlier. Pete Doherty was on. Peter Bukowski was on as well. And I circled a thing or two that each of those guys said and said, that's something that we can talk about. That's something that we should talk about now with mandatory minicamp starting this week. They do organized team activities, mandatory minicamp. organized team activities. They might do stuff with the rookies next week. And Matt LaFleur explained with the schedule, it's like it just allows the veterans to get the stuff done. And then if they want to go home or get out of town or go be with their families, they can. They're not waiting around, for a week with nothing to do. So that's why the schedule's laid out the way that it is. And I don't know if Matt LaFleur will speak tomorrow or Wednesday. Typically, it's the second day of practice, as I've come to understand, that's open to the media. And that is, includes an open locker room and a Matt LaFleur press conference. I'm not sure, but we should have some Packers news and things to pick at throughout the week. But some bigger offseason topics or conversations that I have prepared that we can get into tonight. I'll take your calls on everything. I have an NBA thought. I have a college football thought, big college football story today that we'll discuss as well. And your calls are welcome throughout on any of these topics. Bring whatever you want to the table. 608-321-1670 and the live stream up and running. Download that Wisco Sports Zone app. I keep telling you, but you should download it because you can listen to all of our shows. The podcasts are all there. The live stream, the video to all of our shows. Ebo in the morning, Bill in the afternoon, me in the evening. The camp with Zach and Jesse as well. It's official visit season. A lot of recruiting nuggets that you can get from those guys. They do a great job. So the Wisco Sports Zone app has all of that. I guess I don't just mean to glaze the Brewers. I think I oscillate back and forth on this show from complain, criticize, nitpick. I go between that and the Brewers are just smart and they know what they're doing and every move that they make is good and every trade is smart and all of these players are working out. And I'd like to be able to find a middle ground, but that's proven challenging this year. We're either talking about how the left side of the infield is weak or they need another outfielder or they're running out of pitchers. We're either doing that thing or we're just glazing every move that they've made and every acquisition and the development of this player and the development of that player and look at the growth from this guy. And through it all, by the way, the Brewers are winning. It's not like we complain about them when they lose and then glaze them when they win. They're 40-23. They're 17 games over. And I believe I saw on the broadcast yesterday, it's their best 60-game start in franchise history. Did I see that correctly on the broadcast yesterday? Maybe I'm getting the wording wrong or the framing wrong a little bit. Doesn't it seem like we get one of those every year? I mean, life's pretty good as a Brewers fan. They win a lot of games, and I feel like every year for the last couple of years, we're getting some sort of statistic or note from Mike Vasallo and Brewers stats and information and media relations about how they haven't gotten off to this good of a start. They haven't had this good of a month of May. They haven't, June hasn't begun this well since 2000, whatever. So the Brewers just keep winning. And I think this week was especially impressive, or this weekend was especially impressive, because they didn't really do it behind their horses other than Mizorowski, of course. And that's been a theme throughout. They've needed to win the Kyle Harrison starts and the Jacob Mizorowski starts because those guys have been that good. And the rest of their rotation has, been in flux. Injuries to Brandon Woodruff and Logan Henderson was really good. He wasn't even on the opening day roster. He wasn't one of their original options in the starting rotation. He comes up in relief, some injuries that they've had, and then he gets hurt. So they've had to cobble certain spots together other than Mizorowski, who was clearly great the other night. They're getting it done with Brandon Sproat on the mound, who continues to struggle, although nice of them to get a win that Brandon Sproat, started in on Friday night. And, to his credit, he may have looked like the best pitcher the Brewers threw out there on Friday night. Not a high bar. McGill didn't have it, and Ashby struggling with command, and maybe that's because in extras, maybe he gets in his head about a guy being on second base. I don't know. Sproat might have looked like their best arm on Friday night. But I think the best example is Drowan yesterday. His development and his progression and growth and the tweaks and the adjustments that they've made with him throughout the season, I think that's a microcosm of how they handle all of these guys. When they made the Caleb Durbin trade, I remember not liking it because it's my instinct to not like most things, which is hilarious because, all the moves that the Brewers make are usually good and they're smart and they work out. And yet when they make these moves, my first instinct is to complain and to criticize. But one thing I remember very specifically when the Caleb Durbin trade went down is I got on the air and said, the Brewers are acquiring pitchers and loading up their roster with starting pitching options to an unreasonable degree. And what I said at the time, and I'll wear this because I could not have been more wrong. What I said at the time was last year was an aberration. You are not going to have that many injuries in your starting rotation again. Just it's not gonna happen like it did last year. I thought Matt Arnold was operating and making moves this offseason based on an experience that was abnormal last year. Like all of their starters got hurt. And this offseason, it appeared as though they were operating in a way where all of their starters would get hurt again. We're going to make trades that may not even be necessary or good, but we want more pitching. We want more pitching. We want more pitching. I said, guys, that's not going to happen again. There's no way. There's no way that they're going to have that many pitching injuries again. And wouldn't you know it, they've probably had more. It's like, okay, I'll wear that. I was wrong. Where would they be without Kyle Harrison? Or yesterday, where would they be without Shane Drowan? Here's Tim Dillard, his opening remark in his spot with Bill earlier today about the commodity, and I like that word. I think it's a smart word to describe starting pitching.
Well, I think it starts in the offseason. You make moves. You try to get, you could tell they really tried to get some starting pitching. They wanted that depth. I felt, they probably were like, oh, no, we were caught off guard last year. We don't want that to happen again because, man, starting pitching is a commodity.
Starting pitching is a commodity. And I thought the Brewers had more starting pitching that they would know what to do with this year. It's like, well, guys, you can't pitch Henderson and Gasser and Drowan. And who's this Kyle Harrison guy and Sproat? Well, it turns out not only are all of those guys going to pitch, but they'll all be needed. They'll all be necessary. And even in the bullpen, they're running out of guys. Like DL Hall's hurt now. That Fitzpatrick guy didn't even pitch in the game. He got injured during warmups. And Grant Anderson takes a liner off the arm. And I criticized Matt Arnold for it at the time because I think spiritually I just didn't like the Caleb Durbin trade. I accepted the Freddie Peralta trade. To me, and I said this at the time, it felt like the Caleb Durbin trade was, they were just getting cute. They were showing off. Look at how much we can trade away. Look at how much fat we can trim and still get away with it and still be the Brewers. And that was the incorrect framing because I should have known at the time, or I should have realized, guys, a nice, plucky, young third baseman without any ceiling is not nearly as valuable as multiple young arms, starter potential arms. Harrison, who has ceiling, a top prospect guy. Drowan, who has the ability to be stretched out. They've used him in the pen with great success. I think now in their second go-round with Drowan as a starter, he came up as a potential starter. Remember, he made that spot start against the Red Sox and just struggled with command. I thought he got squeezed a little bit, but whatever. In that start in Boston, too, wasn't good. And Jack Stern writing today at Brewer Fanatic about this, about how they've tweaked. He's now attacking all portions of the zone. He's using his arsenal a little bit more balanced of a way, being a more well-rounded pitcher, which you have to do as a starter. It's just really impressive the way the Brewers have, they've acquired the necessary amount of arms. And then even past that, they've had to mold some of those guys and get them to the point where they can win behind those guys. And it's not like Shane Drowan gave them a nice 3.2 yesterday, 3 2/3 or 4 innings. He pitched into the 7th. You know what I mean? He went 6 1/3, and I think he probably could have kept going with the score the way that it was, but they've had enough off days, and they got length from Miz the other night, so they clearly had enough. So they didn't need to push Drowan, but I think they could have had they wanted. He only threw 83 pitches. So he continues to get stretched out and tweaked and worked on. And I'll maybe give you a tidbit or two from this Jack Stern piece if you want, good Shane Drowan tidbits. I think 2 really good stories Brewers fans should read this week. Jack Stern on Shane Drowan, and then Kurt Hoag's got a story out about David Hamilton, who, don't look now, has kind of become the starting shortstop of this team. Not every day, but it feels like 60 or 70% of the time now, when the lineup comes out, David Hamilton is playing short. It doesn't mean Joey Ortiz doesn't enter the game later, as a defensive replacement or for a righty-lefty thing, although I don't know that I'd be obsessing over righty-lefty with Joey Ortiz, but right, you get my point. It's not that Joey Ortiz isn't playing, but it really feels like now for the last couple of weeks, the Brewers have been trending towards trying to replace Joey Ortiz. And I think that's probably part of a larger plan over the next month to maybe move on from Luis Renifo, get Cooper Pratt up here, or to get Jet Williams up here. Now, Jet Williams, they'd have to put on the 40-man. And I don't know how many guys they can call up before Cooper Pratt. It's like, all right, guys, he's on the 40-man. You paid him. Whatever their plan is, it feels like step 1 of that plan is, okay, continue to bring David Hamilton along, continue to encourage that development and try to bring him along as a player and slowly but surely kind of phasing out Joey Ortiz at shortstop. Yesterday, David Hamilton getting a start. He hit a home run. And they're winning yesterday's game with Gary Sanchez catching, who hit God, what a nuke. I was laughing out loud. I was watching the game at the bar. I went fishing yesterday. We took a lunch break in between the early morning and the later evenings. I can't fish all day. We took a break, went to get some food, watched the game, and we're watching, what is it, Jaden Hill? What was that guy's name? Yeah, Jaden Hill. The first pitch he throws, it's like, yeah, man, here you go. Batting practice pitch on the inside of the zone to Gary Sanchez. He hit to the moon. Okay. But Gary Sanchez getting it done in the lineup yesterday. And, Garrett Mitchell hitting the ball hard. It's not like Yelich is driving in countless runs and Contreras. Now, Churio had a nice day yesterday, but they're winning a lot of these games with a couple of names in the lineup. Blake Perkins played yesterday, had a hit. Now, Blake Perkins got his average back up over 100, which is a nice step in the right direction. But I think I've led Monday shows with this thought before. The Brewers keep winning games. They keep winning series. They continue to gap their division rivals. The Cubs trending in the wrong direction. The Reds trending in the wrong direction. The Brewers continue to do all this, and I still think they're far from a finished product. I won't go so far as to say they're not playing well, because I think they are. But there's room for improvement everywhere on this roster. Individually, I think Churio can play better. I think Contreras can play better. So individual players. But I also think, from a roster standpoint, a call up to be made here, a guy gets healthy over there. This team continues to win games, even as they're figuring it out and kind of shaping the team and the roster as the season goes along, which is no surprise. It's what they've done for the last couple of years. It's just hard to watch baseball, and I watched a lot of it over this weekend, not just the Brewers, but the Cubs on Sunday Night Baseball last night, and paying attention to the Reds too. It's really hard to watch the Brewers right now and draw any conclusion other than, organizationally, they just have it figured out in a way that their rivals don't. And that's from top to bottom. And I think we saw some examples of that during the Cubs last night. If you watched what happened with Alcantara and some of the contracts and the way that Craig and Jed Hoyer are running that thing, it's just like they don't have it figured out like the Brewers do. Same is true of the Reds. I'll take your thoughts on the Brewers. If you want to jump in and talk baseball, we'll do it for another segment here coming up. 608-321-1670.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Shopping for new windows and doors shouldn't feel like a negotiation. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin doesn't believe in games. They never inflate pricing, and there's no high-pressure sales pitch. Just premium windows and doors built for long-term comfort, beauty, and peace of mind. Buy direct through Pella, and one trusted team handles everything with Pella certified installers every step of the way. Real pricing, premium quality, no games. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Well, I think it starts in the off season. You make moves. You try to get, you could tell they really tried to get some starting pitching. They wanted that depth. I felt, they probably were like, oh no, we were caught off guard last year. We don't want that to happen again because, man, starting pitching is a commodity.
Tim Dillard earlier on Bill's show, and I laughed and I cut that sound because it applies. Drowan with a really good outing yesterday. Part of that starting pitching depth, part of one of their offseason trades. Trade that a lot of people didn't like at the time. Me, I didn't like the Durbin trade. Big part of that was I thought, you have enough starting pitching. You're not going to have injuries like you had last year. And they have had injuries. They maybe had more injuries this year than they had last year. So, whoops. That's why I don't run a baseball team. 608-321-1670, your Brewers calls. Let's take a couple of them here. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Jamie. How you doing, Grant?
Jamie? I'm good, Jamie. What's going on?
Yep. Well, I was listening to you guys earlier, and they were talking about what would you rather have, pitching or batting. I'm going to give you 4 players. So I'm just going to ask you which one you would.
You're talking about possible deadline acquisitions, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Shoot. Yep.
So don't mind the positions of the batters I give you, but would you pick Barry Bonds, Tony Gwynn, Greg Maddux, or Mariano Rivera?
You're asking if I could add any of those guys?
Which one would you pick?
Probably Gwynn or Maddux.
Okay. Because they were talking about, do you need a batter, do you need a pitcher? That's why I was asking which one you would pick just based off that. So
I think it's so difficult with this team right now, Jamie, because right now it feels like, man, you could, if you could get a third starter behind Miz and Harrison, this team could be legit. But I also feel like over the course of the summer, they're going to get 1 or 2 of these other pitchers healthy. And a third starter in a potential playoff series could maybe only pitch once. I don't know. I might lean bat for that reason. I think pitching feels like maybe more of a bigger need right now than it will in a month or two.
Sure. The other question I was going to have for you, and I had never looked up the stats. Did David Ortiz bat better when he played third base?
Joey Ortiz, the Brewer shortstop.
Yeah, Joey Ortiz. I'm sorry.
So
yeah.
I think
Did
Jamie
he play third base the first year he came up?
Yeah, he did, and I can find you that split here. I'm going to tell you that his third base numbers are going to look better. I appreciate it, Jamie. Call back again sometime. We'll talk more. I'm going to tell you, without looking it up, that his third base number will probably be significantly better because the best he's ever played, hands down, offensively was when he first got here. Like, we were talking about whether or not he should be an all-star at third base his first year. That's really the only time he's ever been a high-level offensive player. It was for the first couple of months, right? So I'll try to find that number because now I'm kind of curious, but I with a certain amount of certainty can tell you that, yeah, his number would be better at third base, but I don't think that's related to anything. I just think that's timing. He's had one hot streak, quote unquote, as a batter, and it just happened to take place when he was playing third right when he got here. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's that?
Well, there's my old friend Grant Bill.
Eric on I-90. What's going on, Eric?
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say I'm going to go down to a Brewers game here real shortly. Yep, and I'm looking forward to it based on your report.
Okay.
Sounds like things are going pretty good.
Yeah, correct. They win a lot. We probably complain about them still on this show more than most, but that's the one thing that never changes is they keep winning. Yeah.
I want to see Mizorowski throw some mizzles. I just love that term, mizzle. That's perfect.
We keep calling him the Mizraeli Defense Force in a group chat.
The Mizraeli Defense Force. That is so fun. That's another good one.
I think it's funny. Yes.
I love it. That's so. And then were you fishing this weekend? You said.
Yeah, I was. We were up kind of north of Portage yesterday. Well, it's fun. So I had a busy weekend. I don't know if anyone cares about this. I had a funeral in my hometown on Friday. I went to see Billy Currington in Milwaukee Saturday night, and then I fished all day yesterday. And I should be more hungover and tired, and I'm not. Which goes to show you, Eric, spend time outside. It's good for you.
It is. It is good for you. Yeah. I was pressure washing all weekend. I feel like I've been shooting a 50 caliber machine gun all weekend. I'm shot. And if you go pressure wash for a day, all right, you'll get a whole newfound respect for it.
For pressure washing?
So it's all about frequency. You're shoving that frequency through your body, you know.
The vibrate. Well, I have a notoriously low respect for pressure washers, so this is something I should try, I think.
No, I think you should go grab a hold of one of them for a day and then come back, all right? You know,
I can give that a try.
I think go out and just go and grab a pressure washer and pressure wash all day, and you'll come back. You know, your arm's gonna be sore in Mizorowski's. I'm gonna tell you, you're not.
His arm doesn't seem sore at all. Everyone thinks his arm is gonna fall off, but he stood down the manager on Saturday night and said, "Nuh-uh, don't come get me. I want to finish the inning," and he did. God bless him.
Right. You know, he's turned into a good character too. It sounds like we got a good character out there that's going to bring some drama. So and you're going to watch any basketball? Have you been watching?
I am going to watch tonight, Eric. And I have some sound from Stephen A. Smith maybe at the end of this hour. I'm fascinated that our president is going to this game. It's not something I have an opinion on, but man, has it got people fired up, and I'm seeing videos down by the state. I mean, they got the whole thing barricaded off. Like I'm excited to sit down and watch the game tonight because the Brewers don't start until late. And I'm also just like, I'm fascinated. Where's Trump going to be sitting? What's that whole thing going to look like? That's just an interesting layer onto this thing as well.
Right. Well, he's just got an advanced team going. Like I have an advanced team going down to Brewer Stadium for me. You know, they're welding manhole covers shut, you know, checking for snipers off the parking lot. Yeah, it just happens when you're, well, I'll leave you with this. Kyrie Kumite, Grant. Kyrie Kumite. All right, bud?
Nice to hear from you, Eric. Have a good one.
Have a good one, buddy.
I miss Eric on I-90's calls. It's been a while, so I want to just chit-chat with him for a sec. I was never trusted with the power washer, and I worked on a paint crew, but I tell you, the first week or two of the season, the painting season, when you got the roller and you got it above your head, you wouldn't think, well, that roller's that heavy. You wouldn't think, rolling above my head if you're doing, soffit or, getting up under eaves or whatever. But it's just getting that arm bent a certain way. It's the same thing with pressure washing. By the way, Joey Ortiz the numbers really aren't that drastic because remember, he fell off as a third baseman too. His number at third is he's a career 237 hitter. He's a career 223 hitter at short. So I could go back and find you the splits from that month. Just that's how Joey Ortiz's career shook out. And I am excited for the basketball tonight. More on that a little bit later. A couple more Brewers phone calls here before we take our next break. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Did you say cone roller or paint roller?
A paint roller. A large paint roller over your head cone. You wouldn't think that roller's that heavy, but when you get it just soaked in paint and you're holding it above your head and you're standing on a ladder, you'd be surprised. My shoulder's sore. Look at that. It doesn't take much.
Those are just good jobs, though, to have when you're that age.
Yes.
Teaches you hard work, teaches you maybe, hey, I don't want to be doing stuff like this the rest of my life.
Yes.
I'll go into radio instead.
Teaches you to get up early. And you know what? It's a good thing to have a job where you're ready to go to bed at night. That was something that I liked about it. As soon as it gets dark, I'm like, I'm tired. My body is ready to go to sleep, and I'm not staring at my phone until 11:15 at night, trying to fall asleep. That was another part that I liked about a manual labor job like that.
Amen. I think everybody should be required, 1 summer, 2 summers, however long, to do one of those jobs. I think he builds good character and just life lessons.
I agree. Well, what were you planning to talk about when you picked up the phone?
Brandon Sproat and maybe a little Billy Turrington. Brandon Sproat on Friday, he must be doing something right, hey?
No, he was. Well, what's funny is I'm glad they won that game. I think Brandon Sproat just needs. He doesn't need to be amazing every time out, although I'd take it. What we need, Cone, is just I need an occasional start. 1 out of every 3, 1 out of every 4, 2 out of every 5, where it's like I just need him to get some positive experiences. You know what I mean? Like he's just been going through it. He seems so defeated 2 starts ago. Can we just get through 5 innings, a run or 2 earned, like just a couple normal, just solid starts? I really think he could benefit from that. So I guess maybe if you factor in the Coors factor on Friday night, that maybe that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think 5 innings, 3 earned is, you could take that every time when Brandon Sproat's name is called.
I do.
I think it's on the offense at that point. You gotta, one of your bottom end pitchers, they got to go out and produce. And, although we had a sweep in Colorado, there's still a lot of bad on this offense. I mean, Christian Yelich, like you're in Coors Field, man. It's your time to get some hits. And I don't know. He left a lot to be desired, I thought, this weekend.
Well, and that's why I was happy to see Churio get it going. Cone, I appreciate it. I just want to get to one more caller. Yelich can be more consistent, a little bit better, more pop. Churio, I think, is showing some signs. Maybe we'll circle back to that in hour number 2. I have one stat that I've been tracking that I think maybe shows some positive signs. I think Churio, Yelich, even Contreras, I think some of their meat of the order guys, it's like you need a little bit more. Like we talk about adding a bat. It's like getting Byron Buxton in here. I don't think Byron Buxton is getting traded, but getting that type of player in here isn't going to do much. That's not going to put you up on even footing against the Dodgers if you're not getting, more power and pop from Yelich, Churio, Contreras. Turang's done his job, but those other 3 guys, like, is it crazy to think I want to see Churio and Yelich's face on the Powerball home run leaderboard? I want their face up there. They don't have to be first. I want their faces up there. They're not up there right now. That's a Grant Bills stat. You know what I mean? That's a Grant Bills analytic. Is your face on the Wisconsin Lottery Powerball home run leaderboard graphic? You don't need to be first, but are you in the hunt basically? And they're not. And that needs to keep going. Coors would have been a good opportunity. They hit some home runs, but not really those guys. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this? One more.
Hey, this is Steve.
Hey, Steve. What's going on?
Hey, can I ask you a little baseball nerd question here?
I don't know if I'll be able to answer it, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, you will. This is more. So I watched the last Brewers series when they were in extra innings, 10 innings, and they start. I haven't made up my mind if I like this starting a runner at second base.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it ends. So would you? I'm thinking you'd be smart to walk a guy so you have runners at first and second, because you can hit 2 infield hits and score that guy from second, right?
Yeah.
But if you got an infield hit, you probably have greater odds of turning a double play.
I think I think extra innings has to be so situational, Steve. A lot of people think you should drop a bunt, move them over. But to me, it's like, okay, well, who's coming up, right? Like, this was a problem for me. Was it on Wednesday when they lost to the Giants? They're trying to bunt somebody over. Blake Perkins, they tried to bunt him over. It's like, guys, but Renifo and Hamilton are coming up next. Like, do you think, like, what are we trying to do? Why are we trying to set the table for those guys? If you have good contact hitters coming up, that's fine. And it would be the same pitching. Like, if you feel better about facing the next couple of guys in the order, or you like your pitcher's ability to get a ground ball, then yeah, I think extra innings with that ghost runner, Steve, should be super situational, though.
Yeah, I guess I just look and I see, sack, fly, can move the guy over, an infield hit. I mean, the odds of him scoring without even a hitter, it's very, very likely, but probably unlikely if you have that guy at first and you can turn the double play. I don't know, just my thinking. That's what I love about baseball is the different options at strategy. I love thinking strategy and looking, like you say, looking the lineup and looking ahead and see, and the Brewers, they actually score a surprisingly amount of runs from that bottom of that lineup when they're playing well. Those guys come through. So,
well, they've had to, Steve. I appreciate the call and we talked about this last week. The top of the order's been fine. Terang, most notably, Churio had a nice day yesterday. Yelich was off, leaving something to be desired right now. And Contreras, like anytime I just levy a little bit of like, I don't know, I want a little bit more from Contreras, people jump down my throat on the internet. It's like, well, look at his number. He's got a blah, blah, blah OPS with runners in scoring position or men on base. It's like, yeah, but guys, like when he comes up to the dish with runners on, you're expecting a line drive to or a ground ball to third or short, right? Like you're expecting a double play ball. Like, so when they've scored a lot of runs, yeah, the bottom of the order has been getting it done because they've had to, in a lot of these instances, not in every game. And I enjoy the strategy too. The ghost runner in extra innings, I don't think should ever lead managers or teams to use a one size fits all approach. Who's coming up? Who's on the mound? Who's on second? Who's pitching? Are they a ground ball guy, fly ball guy? All of those things. And that's interesting. That's fun. And I like the ghost runner because I have no interest in 14, 15, 16 inning games. If they happen still with the ghost runner, fine. There's only so much you can do. But any way that you can wrap those games up in 10 or 11 innings, you get a cosign from me. Let's take a break. Some Packers thoughts that I want to get into next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Give me your thoughts as to where this team is right now.
I think they're a good team. Are they a really good team? A lot of things have to fall into place for that, including Parsons and Kraft and getting some immediate help from the draft, getting some better play out of the offensive line, like out of Banks, for instance. The contracts they've done and are probably going to do, Kraft, I would assume, would come next, probably is one of the reasons they didn't do a lot in free agency. I'm sure if there was a free agent they really liked, they would have gone after him. But Gutekunst has had a couple good drafts in the last 4 years, and that means, you're going to be spending money on keeping some of those guys. So that's what they're doing right now.
Pete Doherty, Green Bay Press Gazette, on with Bill earlier today. And there's one thing that he said in that 50-second soundbite that I wrote down verbatim and I sent to Bill. I said, that's the takeaway, or one of the takeaways from this conversation. When Pete says, in response to the question, do you think the Packers are a good team? Do you think they'll be a great team? And Pete says, I think a lot needs to fall into place. A lot needs to go right. Give me that one more time.
A good team? Are they a really good team? A lot of things have to fall into place for that.
A lot of things need to fall into place. And I think we discussed this a week or so ago, kind of with Josh Jacobs and his situation as a jumping off point, saying there's a lot of question marks with this team. Now, every team has question marks. There's no perfect roster in the NFL. There's no team that's like, this is perfect. We love our left tackle. We love our right tackle. We love our backup tackles. We love our center, our guards, our quarterback, our wide receivers. We have enough of them, and depth. We love our running back. He's a stud. Tight ends are great. The wide tight ends, even the blocking tight ends. The defense is stacked top to bottom. No question marks anywhere. Everyone's going to have a perfect clean bill of health. Like, no. Those teams don't exist, of course. So there's not a team in the NFL that wouldn't need some things to fall into place to win a lot of games and win a Super Bowl, obviously. So what we're talking about here is whether or not the Packers need more things to fall into place than the Bears or the Vikings or the Lions or the Niners or the Rams or the Eagles, so on and so forth. And that's just the NFC, right? Are there too many question marks? Are there too many things on this Packers team and on this roster and this coaching staff where you need to squint and think, well, I could see it, yeah. Because I don't know about you, but it seems like in a lot of these Packers seasons, we go in just like that. We're squinting like, well, if that guy, he takes a jump, and like that guy rarely takes a jump. You know what I mean? Like we're always talking about whether or not Lucas Van Ness can take the jump. He might, but like probably not. That's not normally how it goes. In the offseason, we convince ourselves that every single young player is going to get better and take a jump, and everybody who's been hurt is going to be healthy, and this problem that they've had is going to get fixed. So when Pete says a lot of things need to fall into place, I circled that and said that's not typically a good recipe for success. And I think there was a guest on. I get a lot of my material from Bill's show. It's where I get some of my best material. Is, things that guests say or little quotes from Bill. I said, oh, there's a topic there. There's a conversation there. I swear maybe it was Bill Huber or somebody else last week who was on with Bill who said something like, well, maybe Lucas Van Ness could take the jump. Maybe this could happen. Maybe that guy takes a leap this year. It's a dangerous place to be, I think, as a team when you're needing to squint and think, yeah, that could happen. Yeah, that's what it was. I found the quote. It was last Monday. It was June 1st. Bill Huber was on, and he said, I wrote down the quote, maybe Lucas Van Ness takes a jump. I'm like, yeah, that's a dangerous road to walk in the offseason. Well, maybe that could happen. Maybe this could happen. Maybe a guy like Devontae Wyatt could be healthy and productive all season long, which is something that hasn't happened up until this point in his career. I cut a piece of sound from Steve Palazzolo. This is another Packers question mark. Well, Devontae Wyatt needs to stay healthy. Yeah, but he's really been hurt his entire career. This is Steve Palazzolo, 33rd team. He does Check the Mic podcast with Sam Monson. They used to be at Pro Football Focus. These two have been a podcast duo for a long time. Do a good job. Talking about each team's breakout player this year, a player that they're watching. And here's Steve talking specifically about Devontae Wyatt.
I've gone Devontae Wyatt for the second straight year, and he's been my good to great pick for 2 straight years now, and he only used, but injuries limited to 400 snaps last year, was limited to 300 something snaps the year before, and he's still not really great in the run game anchor wise, and gets moved a little bit, but he's been pretty consistently a solid disruptor as a pass rusher his entire career. Former first rounder, 28th pick overall back in 22 out of Georgia. I'm going to call this year a step forward once again for Devontae Wyatt, the defensive tackle for the Packers. Take that pass rush game to the next level, disruption game to the next level. Here in year 5 breakout for Devontae Wyatt.
Yeah, year 5 breakouts feel like they're stretching a little bit.
I've got a couple of those.
I'm kind of assuming that Devontae Wyatt is what he's going to be at this point, which is fine. Like he's a reasonable player. He's maybe not,
but he's only played
as I expected him to be. But
he's played under 400 snaps in his first, third, and fourth seasons. He's only had 1 year over 400 snaps, which is why. So under 2,000 snaps in 4 years, it's not a lot of ball. Like this is the time where he could take the next step here.
It's possible. I doubt it.
A year 5 breakout. This is going to be year 5 for Devontae Wyatt, by the way. I feel like we talk about him and it seems like he's, year 3. He's much younger. And remember, I think he was drafted when he was 22. He was an old draft pick, which is, some of the reasons that people didn't necessarily like him. He has not played, again, to Sam's point, he hasn't played more than 400 snaps, I think, in 3 of the 4 seasons, or what was the number? I'm looking at his Pro Football Reference here, but I can't find snap counts for whatever reason. He has just not played football. So everyone wants to say, well, Devontae Wyatt just needs to stay healthy and he's great. But yeah, that's always been his problem, though. So Devontae Wyatt's health being a question mark, not to mention Parsons and Kraft coming back. Those injuries and their progression back from those injuries is a question mark. Oh, yeah, we have a new left tackle, right? I don't know if their starting corners are good enough. You have a new wide receiver 2, a new wide receiver 3. Your tight end's coming back, like I said, from a crippling knee injury. Your running back might go to jail. And you have a rookie kicker. Just some of the things that I'm kicking around, question marks that I'm kicking around, and that all stems from, listening to what Pete Doherty said earlier, and I'll give it to you one more time. Where basically it's like, yeah, a lot needs to fall into place, which I think is not the best place to be. I understand every team needs something to fall into place. Duh. And that's what we talked about earlier on the midday show, Bill's show. But that's not really the point. The point is, do the Packers need more things to fall into place than their rivals do? And I think you could make the argument that, yeah, probably.
Give me your thoughts as to where this team is right now.
I think they're a good team. Are they a really good team? A lot of things have to fall into place for that, including Parsons and Kraft and getting some immediate help from the draft, getting some better play out of the offensive line, like out of Banks, for instance. The contracts they've done and are probably going to do, Kraft, I would assume, would come next, probably is one of the reasons they didn't do a lot in free agency. I'm sure if there was a free agent they really liked, they would have gone after him. But they Gutekunst has had a couple good drafts in the last 4 years, and that means, you're going to be spending money on keeping some of those guys. So that's what they're doing right now.
One more time, that's Pete Doherty. Let's take a call, and then we'll take a break here. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant. It's your old friend, Uncle Packer, up here in the north.
Uncle Pat up in the north. How you been?
I've been so good. I spent the last 11 days on a beautiful lake in Woburn called Lower Long.
Ooh, yep.
And just bluegills bigger than your hands, and then we'd catch a little bass. It was amazing. Wisconsin, I've been around the world. I did 23 years in the Navy, and Wisconsin, Long Lake in the summertime is the most beautiful place on earth. It's just gorgeous.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Anyway,
I fished for probably 7 combined hours yesterday. I don't think I got a single bite. I don't think I moved a single fish. They didn't want to eat.
It was good. My kids and grandchildren were catching bluegills just around on the swimming dock. It was neat. It was a great time.
Yeah, that
but
rules.
I want you to be more optimistic, my young friend. I want you to realize that if we got a smack kicking for the pack, he's going to be lights out. We're going to have everything come together this year because we've willed it that way. Now,
Sure.
I'm the same guy that said Keston Hero would lead the league in hits, but I might be wrong, but most of the time I'm right, and you can bank on that. The Packers this year, it's going to come together. It's going to come together, and it's going to be amazing. We'll tell our grandchildren about it. It's super. You just relax.
Sure. Yeah. So we can will it. So Uncle Packer, I love your optimism, and I got to go because I'm up against it. I want to hear more about, I would love to catch some bluegills. You could operate that way. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't be optimistic about some of these things. Totally. But your need for optimism, Uncle Packer, is kind of my point. When we're going up and down the roster or the coaching staff, and we're looking at, well, this player needs to take a jump. This guy better be good. There's a question mark over here. When we're breaking down the roster and there's that many unknowns, you need to be optimistic to think all of that is going to work out and the team is going to be as good as a lot of people hope. I'm not telling you you're wrong to feel that way. You can perceive it however you want. I'm just pointing out, like, circling things like this is an unknown, this is an unknown, this is an unknown. And I think the Packers, more so than the last couple of years and probably more so than some of their rivals, specifically in the NFC, they have more question marks than most. I have an NBA thought for you next, and I'll read some text before we wrap up the first hour.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
I don't like it at all. This is a sports network. This is a sports show. I'm not going to engage in politics or policy. This is strictly a basketball segment. This president has no business showing up in New York City. I am dead serious. It is selfish. It is narcissistic. It is ridiculous that he is coming to this game. I would say the same thing if it were Obama, George W., Clinton. I don't give a damn. We went back to Reagan. This is not a football stadium in some space in Texas where you got a whole bunch of outlays and all of this. This is the Garden. This is Midtown Manhattan. You have any idea what the congestion is going to be like in New York City here? I get off my radio show at 3 o'clock. I've been instructed that I got to go straight to the Garden for an 8:30 game because that's how bad traffic is going to be.
Hilarious piece of sound. Do you know I have to leave at 2:30? It's like, Stephen A., shut up. Like, oh, the traffic. Oh no, the traffic. I find the pretext of tonight's NBA Finals Game 3 at Madison Square Garden. I'm so entertained by all of this. I don't care. I think it's cool that presidents go to things. Now, basketball is a little different than football or like NASCAR because it's a small arena and naturally the security. And so, sure, if you want to talk about, well, the fan experience is less. Okay, maybe. I don't know. I'm not going, so I don't care. It's not in Milwaukee. It's not my team. I don't care. I think it's cool when presidents go to stuff. Now, in a perfect world, everyone would be, like the president would have 100% approval and everyone would be like, there's our guy. He's in our game with it. But that's not how the world works. And I'm not naive enough to think that that's probably ever the way the world's going to work. Like, I don't think we're ever electing a president where everyone in America is like, you know what, that person rule. Now, I'm normally a Democrat, but I like this guy, or I'm a Republican, but this guy, he's actually okay. I don't think we're ever going to have that. So it's probably a pipe dream, but I think it's cool when the president goes to things. If I was a Knicks fan, I'll tell you this, I'd be terrified because my team is up 2-0 and the vibes are perfect. Like, this team hasn't lost in weeks. They look like they're going to roll to the finals. If I was a Knicks fan, even if I was a Knicks fan that voted for Trump, in all three elections, I got the bumper sticker on my car or on my, they walk everywhere in New York. It's a walkable city. So not a bumper sticker, bad example. But like, I could be the biggest Trump person in the world. But if I was a Knicks fan, I'd be like, oh God. Oh, if the Knicks lose tonight, everyone's going to clown. It's going to become a thing. And it's like, it does feel like it's an opportunity or a possibility for a momentum swing or a vibe shift in the NBA Finals, which is funny to me. It's entertaining. I'm more interested in turning on the game tonight for that reason. Not to mention the Brewers don't start until late, so I'll have something to kind of throw on pretty shortly after I get home, which is selfishly, from a sports fan's perspective, a consumer, a television watcher, it's convenient. Works out well for us. More Packers talk, more Brewers talk. I guess if you have a thought on the NBA Finals, I will begrudgingly open the phones to that. Hour number 2 next after Zach's update. We'll be right back.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers are in Sacramento. It's where they're going to open up a series against the Athletics today. They will do so coming off a 3-game sweep of the Rockies in Colorado. Their first there since 2014. Rockies are struggling this year, but manager Pat Murphy wasn't downplaying the sweep.
Anytime you can get wins here, it's a very tough place to play. And, they've got some injuries and they're very young, but it's hard to win a major league game on the road. It's hard to win a major league game, period. Take nothing for granted. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and we happen to come out on top these 3 games.
The win gives Milwaukee 40 on the season, the fastest they've ever reached that number. It has them 17 games above 500 and owning a 5-game lead on the Cardinals for first place in the NL Central. Tonight, they're going to send Kyle Harrison to the mound. He's 7-1 with a 1.57 ERA, giving up just 1 earned run in his last 4 outings combined. The A's counter with Jeffrey Springs. He's 3-6 with a 4.37 ERA, coming off an outing where he allowed 4 runs, didn't even make it out of the 4th inning. First pitch out west is slated for 9:05.
Everyone should feel confident about their path forward. Sciences Now Abbott has teamed up with UW Athletics to help promote cancer prevention and early detection. The Exact Sciences Athletes program is unique as it connects UW student athletes with the company's work to provide breakthroughs in cancer care and treatment. UW student athletes helping raise cancer awareness to make a difference in the Madison community. Learn more at uwbadgers.com/Exact Sciences Athletes.
Well, the Packers are going to get their mandatory minicamp going tomorrow in Green Bay. It's the lone mandatory aspect of the offseason program. They close out the offseason next week with another round of OTAs. Turning to Wisconsin, they've added 2 more pieces to their 2027 recruiting class. 3-star wide receiver Chase Steele from Montana, 3-star edge rusher Darren Graham from Chicago announced their commitments yesterday. They now have 19 commits in the class. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
The Rockies down to their last out.
Struck him out. The ball game is over. The Brewers have swept the Rockies in Denver for the first time since 2014.
And an absolute team effort here. Started with Drowan. Another good start by a Brewers starter. And obviously the offense comes alive for 17 hits, 9 of those extra base hits. That's the most extra base hits in a game for the Brewers this season.
Very tough place to play. They're very young, but it's hard to win a major league game on the road. It's hard to win a major league game, period. They take nothing for granted. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and we happen to come out, on top these 3 games.
Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
Hour number 2, some Brewers audio to reset the show, but we don't have to stick with the Brewers. You can jump in on the Packers conversation. I did share an observation or an opinion or 2 on Trump attending Game 3 tonight in New York. I'm very entertained by it all. Makes for some good reaction. I think most of it is overboard. Like, call the authorities. Stephen A. Smith has to leave early because of the traffic. Oh, no. Like, really? Okay. It's not that big of a deal. But the basketball of it all, if I was a Knicks fan, I'd be like, oh, God. Like, even if I was the world's biggest Donald Trump supporter, vote for him 3 times. Like, if I loved Donald Trump and I was a Knicks fan, I think I'd still be like, oh, God. Like, this, like, we just, the series is going so perfectly. The vibe is so incredible. Like, you just don't want anything to change. You don't want any possible, vibe shift or anything thrown into the mix. And I if I was a Knicks fan, I would be worried about that tonight. It's really entertaining. I can't wait to turn it on tonight for the basketball and for whatever else, the reaction and the crowd shots and the celebrities are already there. So if you want to jump in on that as well, if it's something that I'm going to cover, I'll open the door to you. But you know that we're not like don't call me and say he should be focused on the war in Iran. Like, we're not going to do that. But if you want to talk about basketball at all, I think it's a fun story. That's why I brought it to the show tonight. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Damn, I was hoping Dave from down to be in front.
Vagabond.
Perfect moment.
There we go.
Perfect
Okay,
moment.
I got your connection back. Yeah, maybe we'll hear from Dave. I don't know. Although Dave is a bit of a wacko, but sometimes he surprises me. Like, maybe Dave would hate, if Donald Trump were to come to the Kohl's Center. I could actually see Dave finding a way to hate that because, like, the disabled seating section is like blocked off or something. Like, I could find Dave surprising us with that.
Yeah, it's going to interrupt Greg Gard's guarding for cancer. That's
Yeah.
like Dave's favorite event.
Yeah.
Big
Something
Greg
like
Gard
that.
fan.
Yeah.
I can see that angle. It's interesting. Stephen A. Smith saying it's not political, but if this were Texas, I wouldn't care, right? And it's like, well, like presidents have Secret Service and they do the pre-visit stuff even after office.
Yeah.
And I'm old enough to remember that Obama did in fact attend an NBA finals game.
Mm-hmm.
But it was in Toronto because damn well he wasn't going to attend a game in the U.S. after office.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. He sat courtside too. I think we'll see if the orange guy goes courtside. That'll be interesting. I agree. He fits the color scheme well. That's all I was thinking about. Like he He's a good fit there.
Little
Hey,
orange.
Grant, I got a quick rant and a rave. Sounds like we had pretty similar weeks last week in terms of funerals and whatnot. I mean, it's always sad, but good to see extended family. But rest of the weekend, quick rant, quick rave. Rant, Cub Foods. There is no worse chain on earth. Are there Cub Foods in Wisconsin? Did I just not know about these?
I think that's a Twin Cities creation, but I'll check that while you're talking because now I'm curious.
Oh my God. There is nothing worse than Cub Food. Cub Food is like going to Woodman and paying Metcalf's prices. It is ridiculous. It is below Aldi in quality, and I love Aldi, but I love Aldi because of the prices, because I get to put a quarter in a machine, in a cart. I love the experience of going to Aldi, bagging my own groceries into boxes. It's awesome, right? Same reason I love going to Costco. I don't want to pay premium, whatever premium grocery stores near you. I know in Madison, Metcalf's absolutely kicks ass, and I expect to pay that premium at Metcalf's, and then on Sundays they get the free paper, and they got the whole kit and caboodle. So Cub Foods, you're on the list, your ass. Quick rave though, Facebook Marketplace. I'm on a big kick. Facebook Marketplace is like saving humanity. For all the evils that social media brings, it's such a better version of Craigslist. I was using Craigslist as late as last year. I don't know why I'd ever use Craigslist again. Sold an entire deconstructed gaming PC and pretty much got the entire, cash back. Not that you'd know anything being a lowly console player, probably sitting on your plastic floors somewhere in Lone Rock. But then, after, harvesting all the old parts of a gaming PC, sold back pretty much that, equal value for a brand new one. So shout out Facebook Marketplace. Going to pick up some flooring myself from it right now. Of course, no plastic floors here. And Cubs Foods, you're on the list. In terms of Green Bay optimism,
go ahead.
Man, Uncle Packer, come on, man. This is June. This June's time for hot takes. Grant, someone in the research department needs to get on this. Is there a link between RAS scores and injury and games missed due to injury?
Oh boy,
I'm curious. Someone do a deep dive. It's probably going to be me later after another 5 milligrams of legal THC. That's all I got.
Which you can get in the cities, probably at Cub Food. By the way, I Googled Cub Foods. White Bear Lake, Eagan, Lakeville, Arden Hills, Edina, Rosemont. Oh. As I said on the morning show last week, the Twin Cities has created a million Wanakees in every direction from the downtown metro. RAS scores and injuries. Maybe, I don't know. It seems like, why is it the Packers have all of these guys that they've drafted where they're injured early and often, and then like 2 years into the career, it's like, we're going to send them to see a specialist. It's like, oh, okay. Well, maybe by the time they sign their first extension, they will have learned how to stretch properly for their body. Like, can we do that before? Can we do that? Can we do that right away at the beginning of their careers? Packers optimism. Yeah, I think you need some optimism right now. And I know some of you do because a lot of you hate Matt LaFleur and think he stinks and they're not going to win with him. A lot of you are much more critical of Matt LaFleur than I. But just looking at the roster, I think this team has more question marks than the average offseason, at least from the last couple of years. And I think that's dangerous. It's not to say that all of those question marks, all of those bets couldn't hit and the team rules and they win 12 games. Sure, that could happen. But I think it's a dangerous place to be. I think this Packers team needs more to fall into place than some of their rivals, which is what we were talking about llast hour. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's that?
Yeah, Grant, if I was president, there's no way I would miss like a Brewers, Packers, or Bucks championship. I would be there no matter what. I mean, I would, even knowing that if things went wrong, that all my haters would tell me that I jinxed the team. I know there's a running joke in Texas about Ted Cruz attending any like Houston sports games or Texas sports games, and the Texas team always seems to lose when he's in attendance. So
that's
really
what I'm
not a big
saying.
deal.
That's the basketball take, Mad Max. If you were a Knicks fan, wouldn't you wouldn't want this, or I don't think I would want this, even if I was a big Donald Trump guy, because I'm like, I don't want anything that could knock the current series off of the current vibes. You know what I mean? Like, I just want everything to stay exactly the way that it's been. We don't need any other external, like no outside stories, no nothing. Like, I wouldn't want that if I was a Knicks fan.
I agree with that. Yeah. But Grant, one thing I wanted to say, so good weekend overall. I mean, sweeping in Denver is not easy to do, no matter how bad the Rockies are. The Israeli Defense Force was just firing more missiles into home plate, and that's just a joy to watch. We got a good, successful Cubs hate watch last night on national TV. That's always fun. And I did some cabal fighting at banana ball games over the weekend. I was there on an undercover mission, and I have to say, Grant, the whole thing is it's basically a cult. I don't get it. It's weird. And I just think that something like this, people who really get into banana ball are the people who are going to willingly take the mark of the beast and just willingly live in the smart cities. When Racine becomes one, I think Racine is actually going to have a banana ball team, and they're going to be like a grounds to round people up and get people to comply. They're going to put like nano in the stadiums that just brainwash people.
So I don't disagree with any of that. I can't argue. Mad Max, I appreciate it. You might be cutting out there a little bit. On the mark of the beast, it all goes back to Racine for Mad Max, so I appreciate that connection. It's for the kids. It's for the kids. And if the kids like it, I would rather have kids going to see Banana Ball than playing their Xbox all day, although I like Xboxes. Wouldn't you rather have that? And also for people who make fun of Banana Ball, I just know there's a certain Venn diagram of people who think Banana Ball is the stupidest thing ever, but they love WWE. And I'm not saying they're the same. They're not. But they are close enough where I don't think certain folks should throw stones from their professional wrestling glass house. Does that make sense? It does kind of feel like the Wiggles, but it's for the kids. So yeah, I liked the Wiggles. I like Baby Einstein too. Much more highbrow than Banana Ball. It's for the kids. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
I'm going to make sure that my kid likes real baseball, though,
Which one? Your current or the one that's on the way? Because I know that you're just such a robust reproducer, Darnell.
The current one.
Okay.
I don't need the gimmicks. I don't want my kids to need the gimmicks to enjoy baseball.
Sure.
I don't want there to have to be like, oh well, Dad, this baseball is boring because they don't do a TikTok dance between every play. I don't need that.
It is based on, I didn't go. I talked to Bill about it and a friend or two who was in the building on Saturday. And it is very much TikTok. It's constant stimulation, right? There's always something going on. There's no downtime. There's no in between. There's always something. So that I do think that's a trend with our species that's a little unhealthy. Our attention spans have just been absolutely obliterated.
Right. And I mean, we've already gone so far in making baseball watchable from a television standpoint, where games that used to last 4 hours are now 2.5 is pretty much the standard there. So yeah, there's not as much standing around. There's not as much just dilly dallying. We're watching baseball now. So I just don't think we need to add this extra garbage into each play. There's a certain subtlety with baseball that Banana Ball, as entertaining as it can be, and obviously geared towards the younger generation, I think it's super unnecessary, and it generally just makes me mad as a young millennial, I guess I'll say.
I thought you were going to say as a father. But you are also a young millennial, correct, Darnell?
And to John, Vagabond John, there was a Cub Foods in Madison, Wisconsin when I was growing up over by the Home Depot on Verona Road.
And did you like it?
I don't think I ever went to it because it's right by Allied Drive. It's not exactly the spot to go if you're
sure.
myself in the early 2000s, but it's where the U-Haul is now, that big U-Haul stuff. So
yeah, I think there used to be one at the mall in La Crosse as well, but now they seem, Darnell, I appreciate it. I just got to take another call. Now they seem more like the I don't know, they seem to decorate the Twin Cities suburbs. Shout out to Vagabond John, although he was glazing the Twin Cities on Over the Line last week. It's it's just a bunch of Wanakees around the metro, and I like Wanakee. It's a burgeoning community. I like going out there to hang out with Zach, our sports director. But you got to live in White Bear Lake, Prior Lake, Rosemont. It's all right. Okay. A million Wannakes. I'm just going to stick to that line. All right, one more call here. There's a bit of a potpourri first segment. We'll get back into the Packers after this break. Wisco Sports Show. Who's that?
Evening, Grant.
Evening, Tim from Sparta. Folksy as ever you are.
Yes, the last few minutes have been quite entertaining. I just wanted to call in and go, I've never been jealous of anybody else's wealth. I grew up dirt poor. I know the value of $1. If you've made it and you've put it in the bank and you're richer than Midas, good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes me laugh when people like Stephen A. Smith, who is going to be given tickets and a steak dinner and a good bottle of wine tonight while watching from seats that I would have to put a second mortgage on my house to even think about getting.
Mm-hmm. I'll play that soundbite here as we wrap up this segment. But the part that made me laugh when he's like, I'm going to have to leave after my radio show at 2:30 because that's how bad traffic's going to be. It's like, do you realize how this sounds, Stephen A? And look, you don't have to like the president's at the basketball game. I don't care. I'm just more as the radio host here. I'm gonna listen to what everyone else has to say and be entertained by it. You know what I mean?
And if by him going there, it makes your life a little more miserable.
Good.
please go to the next game and the next game and the next game. Dude. Just because. Yes, you are absolutely correct. This is the fantasy time for people to go. Yeah, the Packers are going to be great. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We will root for them with all of our might, but there's a lot of holes that have got to get filled in a hurry. So, as always, Grant, you have a good night and go Pack, go, and the Bears still suck.
Appreciate it, Tim and Sparta. This is the soundbite to which Tim was responding. I cut this just to use as a bumper because I had a couple things to say about tonight, Game 3, and President Trump is going to be there. Which I shared a couple of thoughts on, nothing that deep. I'm looking for the entertainment value, but this is Stephen A. Smith, and I was laughing at this just like you, Tim and Sparta.
I don't like it at all. This is a sports network. This is a sports show. I'm not going to engage in politics or policy. This is strictly a basketball segment. This president has no business showing up in New York City. I am dead serious. It is selfish. It is narcissistic. It is ridiculous that he is.
By the way, Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. Smith's fine. He's not my bag, but I'm mostly indifferent on Stephen A. I brought this up on the show. Like, he always sounds so angry. It's like, dude, you're talking sports on television. Can you occasionally sound like you're having fun? He's always like, I gotta be locked in. Skip Bayless too. Like, when those two were at their prime, it's like, we're having fun. We're being a little ridiculous, but now they're like, I don't know. They take themselves so seriously. But Stephen A. Smith saying it's narcissistic. Really? Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Stephen A. Smith is the guy who like walks down the tunnel and goes around on the court to show off his outfit. It's like, dude, of course. Anyone who sits courtside at Madison Square Garden, of course it's narcissistic. Duh. Which if you want to rail Trump on that, fine. But Stephen A. Smith can't. He's as narcissistic as anybody is. But anyways, the funniest part of this clip is the end.
Into this game, I would say the same thing if it were Obama, George W., Clinton. I don't give a damn. We went back to Reagan. This is not a football stadium in some space in Texas where you got a whole bunch of outlays and all of this. This is the Garden. This is Midtown Manhattan. You have any idea what the congestion is going to be like in New York City here? I get off my radio show at 3:00. I've been instructed that I got to go straight to the Garden for an 8:30 game because that's how bad traffic is going to be.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Stephen A. Again, feel how you want about Trump going. I'm just here for the reaction and people getting fired up. My favorite part, or I think the most interesting storyline, is if the Knicks lose big tonight. If I was a Knicks fan, I'd just be like, why? We were cruising through this series. We were up 2-0 at home. Why did we need to, even if I loved Trump, voted for him multiple times, it'd be like, we could have just not done this whole thing. Because you know how these series are. one game goes a certain way and it can completely change the complexion of the thing. We'll come back. A couple of Packers thoughts. We'll reset with some Brewers at the bottom at 5:35. Oh, and the Monday Mailbag. Submit your questions. GrantBills21@gmail.com.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Shopping for new windows and doors shouldn't feel like a negotiation. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin doesn't believe in games. They never inflate pricing, and there's no high-pressure sales pitch. Just premium windows and doors built for long-term comfort, beauty, and peace of mind. Buy direct through Pella, and one trusted team handles everything with Pella certified installers every step of the way. Real pricing. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Said on Locker Cleanout Day, you realistically expected to miss the first 3 or 4 games. Has that expectation changed based on how your rehab has gone?
No, I think the goal has always just been not right now, but longevity with my career here, and I think they want that approach. And we have a pretty strong 9-month rule, so it's just all about just through the research and the data. There's no good outcomes with players coming back early from ACL, especially if you add in all the other things that get fixed up. So it's just all about completing the rehab the best of our ability and then seeing where we're at from there.
Micah Parsons just gets us back into the segment. I have a comment or two about the Packers defense that I want to react to. Peter Bukowski, I thought, made a good point on Bill's show earlier. So we'll expand on that here in a minute. The show presented by Road America up near Elkhart Lake. It's a beautiful time of year in Wisconsin, and it's a beautiful place in Wisconsin. I mean, every corner of Wisconsin is beautiful. But Bill describes Road America, and I agree. Feels like a national park with a racetrack in the middle of it. It's beautiful. It's not just some big oval, you know what I mean, with a pit full of campers and tailgaters in the middle. It's winding and it's meandering and it's beautiful, and you could spend all day exploring, going from corner to corner, and the racetrack does rule. And of course, you can bring the camper, you can bring the RV, but it's scenic. Like I said, that's what I'm trying to explain if you've never been. And for those who have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So go to roadamerica.com. You can look at their upcoming event schedule, and it could be something major, right? The Indy cars or the sprints, a big weekend event, or it could be something a little bit more low-key. You could go on a weeknight for a sunset cruise or one of the driving classes, some opportunity where it's not as busy, it's not a big production. You just want to go see the place and enjoy one of Wisconsin's, I think, crown jewels in the summertime. roadamerica.com, the event schedule, and you can make camping reservations as well. Like I said, I want to talk about the Packers for a few minutes. Pete Doherty on with Bill earlier, Peter Bukowski as well, and on the subject of Micah Parsons coming back, talked about last year's defense, how they were too Micah Parsons centric, and I thought this was interesting. We'll react to this together.
I think I was talking to a defensive coach last year about the injury, and he was like, I asked him after the season as well. We connected again, and I said, why do you think the Packers defense was not as good in 2025 with Micah Parsons as it was in 2024 without him? And what he said was he felt like they galaxy brained it a little bit too much, that it was a little bit too heliocentric defensively, where it was all set up for Micah Parsons to get off. And it's like, you don't need to do that with Micah Parsons. He can just go play. And so that going into the season, these fronts they're not going to be as funky. They're not going to be as disguise heavy with their fronts and some of the blitz packages and stuff. It's going to be a little bit more of line it up and play. And that might be potentially beneficial for the Packers, because when Micah gets back, they can just drop him right in and go. They won't have to change their style of play. And I think that is potentially a good thing for this team.
So in hindsight, last year, if that's the way they were operating their defense, and that's what Pete says his observations told him and conversations with some defensive coaches around the NFL, can I just point out it's kind of a stupid way to build a defense. I agree with Pete. It's like, you don't have to build the boat around helping Micah Parsons succeed. He's Micah Parsons. He's going to do that automatically. Going to do that by himself because he's Micah Parsons. And if he doesn't, it means the opposing offense is going to have double or triple teamed him, and then somebody else would make a play. Now, I understand as the season went along, Micah Parsons got hurt and Devontae Wyatt got hurt, so they just started to run out of bodies. Of course, no one talks about how Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker were still healthy because, well, I mean, what was the brilliant Jeff Hafley to do? He lost his best player, which of course is going to affect the defense. They shouldn't suck the way that they did, and the decline of the defense started before Micah Parsons' injury. That was week 11. The decline started, and we've chronicled that in detail many times on this show. And it's just kind of a stupid way to build a defense. Here's more from Pete talking about how the Packers this year need to build their defense, not around Micah Parsons, but build a defense that then they can add Micah Parsons to as the season progresses.
If he's out 6-8 weeks, you don't want to be the Packers without Micah Parsons. You want to be the Packers, and you want to establish that early on. Hey, this is what Packers football looks like. And then you drop Micah Parsons into that. And that was kind of supposed to be what last year was, right? And I think they got a little too far afield from that at times. Like, I feel like if you took Micah Parsons and dropped him just gave him all of Rashawn Gary's snaps from that 2024 team, that's like a top 3 defense.
Yeah.
But that's not really what they did last year. And I don't know that Jeff Hafley, this is also a producer Grant take, I don't know if Jeff Hafley has received a sufficient amount of criticism for some of the ways that last season went, and specifically the way that it finished with 25 fourth quarter points against your biggest rival in a game you had won. So not to say that Jonathan Gannon is definitely going to be an upgrade, but I think last year was mismanaged in ways that have not really fully been, archaeologically excavated here.
So it's been excavated, to use Pete's term, on this show. I don't think Jeff Hafley was nearly the mastermind everybody thought. He just thought he was overrated. Doesn't mean he was bad. I just thought he was very overrated. I think Jonathan Gannon will be better. we talked last year, like, wow, Micah Parsons got hurt. What do you want? It's like, okay, well, I thought Xavier McKinney was really good. And I hear constantly about how Javon Bullard and Evan Williams are these great young players. This is what frustrates me about the way the Packers are sometimes covered, is if you listen to Packers podcasts and people who cover the team or create Packers content, well, McKinney's awesome, man. He's one of the best at his position in football. Evan Williams is this brilliant young player, great draft pick. Javon Bullard, that guy's a dog. He's progressing, man. He's a great player. Edgerrin Cooper is a stud. He's a star. He's a player who's going to be all pro in no time. It's like, okay, now wait a minute. If all of that is true, then the defense can't fall off a table. And we explain it away as, well, Micah Parsons, Devontae Wyatt got hurt. What do you want? I don't know. Any of the host of half a dozen players who I'm constantly told are great, like those guys just no longer exist. They're not supposed to do nothing. I think Edgerrin Cooper is going to be such a tell early on in the season for Jonathan Gannon and what this defense will look like. And I know we've talked so much about the Packers offense, and honestly, I'm more interested in the Packers offense because the offense had a chance to win every single game last year, maybe save for the Baltimore game. Like the defense was not holding the Packers back from winning any games last year. I know they gave up 25 straight points to the Bears in Chicago in the fourth quarter in the playoffs. Yeah, but they should have won that game anyways. The Packers offense should have done the job. So I understand we focus mostly on the offense, coach, quarterback. That's what matters most. But if we may just detour to the defense for a sec, like I think a big indicator for this Packers defense this year under Jonathan Gannon, a player that I will watch, and if that player is used in a way that is impactful and that makes plays, Edgerrin Cooper. Is Jonathan Gannon gonna use this guy? Is he gonna move him around? Is he gonna be turned into some game-breaking, game-wrecking player? Because again, I hear constantly about how good Edgerrin Cooper is. He's so fast and he's sideline to sideline, and he's just a great star young linebacker. Okay, I'm not arguing with that. If that many smart football people tell me that Edgerrin Cooper is awesome, fine, he's awesome. You would know more than me. I'm no football expert. But why is it then when I watch the Packers, I just don't see him blowing up plays. I don't see him around the ball as much. And I know he probably has a lot of tackles. I'm just telling you what my eye test tells me watching the team. If he was that special, if he's that great of a player, I feel like I should be noticing him more. Like I watch the Patriots. It's like I see Christian Ellis popping off the screen all the time in the playoffs last year. That guy's not anything special, is he? So what's the diff? This is what Pete Doherty said earlier about the pass rush. And you'll hear the question from Bill and about how Edgerrin Cooper, especially in Micah Parsons and Devontae Wyatt's absence, he should be a big part of it.
But I think what needs to be great or well above average is going to be the front seven of the Green Bay Packers, which will then make the secondary better.
Yeah, that the rush can do more for the corner or the coverage than the coverage can do for the rush. And maybe they'll use Cooper a little more. Last year, I thought I think the blitz numbers, I'm pretty sure Walker ended up blitzing more than Cooper did. And I just wonder if, especially with Walker gone, maybe Cooper gets some more rushing chances this year. He's he's a really dynamic guy, but he was the better blitzer of the two. So, maybe he can be one of those guys. Maybe he can have a, big year for an inside linebacker. If they get 6 or 7 sacks, that's a huge year.
So that's another tell about Jeff Hafley last year, in my opinion. Where it's like, you're blitzing Quay Walker more than Edgerrin Cooper. Why? I just don't understand. I should see more. I should feel more. I should notice more of Edgerrin Cooper during games. So that's a player that I'm circling the first month of the season. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make an effort during games. Like, okay, where's that guy? How are they using him? Because last year, everyone said, well, the defense got bad. Micah Parsons, Devontae Wyatt got hurt. What do you want? It's like, well, okay, I don't expect him to pitch a shutout, but I don't expect him to give up 25 in a fourth quarter and give up against the Ravens. Like, I don't expect that because I'm told they have lots of other good players. Unless, of course, it's time to judge the performance of the team. Then those players all of a sudden aren't as good because we're going to excuse Jeff Hafley and his defense for not being that good. So Edgerrin Cooper is one of those guys. Is he going to be moved around and used and deployed as a guy who gets opportunities to get sacks and big tackles for losses? Because if not, then what are we doing? What are we doing? That, to me, that's going to be a big tell in the first month of the season. How is Jonathan Gannon using that guy? Because if he's as good as everyone says he is, and I agree, fine. All right, you tell me he's great. You're smart, fine. He's great. It's got to translate into he's helping the defense get off the field or create turnovers, because I haven't seen that thing nearly as much. Monday Mailbag in about 15 minutes, 608-321-1670. Couple Brewers thoughts when we come back in the interim until we pop open the mailbag to wrap up the show.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
All right, Wisco Sports Show, Monday Mailbag in about 10 minutes. I have a couple final Brewers thoughts that we can use to fill the segment, but some calls came in. I want to make sure you have a chance to follow up on some of our Packers conversations. Specifically, I think Edgerrin Cooper is going to be a player that's a big tell this year about whether or not they're really locked and dialed in, and Gannon is maybe ready to take this defense to the next level in a way that Jeff Hafley couldn't, because, again, I think Jeff Hafley was just wildly overrated. I think he was fine. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant. Great show.
Oh, thanks, Denny and Holman. What's going on?
Well, my friend, I'm a little bit afraid of this year with the Packers, and
me too.
I honestly feel, Grant, that their best could be 10-7. I think they're going to honestly finish 9-8. There's just too many holes that are not filled, too many players let go that they're counting on having people, replace them that are rookies, and also that if our offensive line, and I know that's at any team, but if our line gets hurt at all or something, we're really in trouble for backups.
So, you are correct about the backups, Denny. And sorry, I'm just going to be quick here. We'll talk more, I'm sure, this week and into the offseason. There's just two other callers I want to get to. Every team has questions. Duh. Every team maybe doesn't feel good about their backups. That's why they're backups. Duh. Yes, all of these things are true. So if you're listening, you're like, hey, you guys are being so negative. I have concerns about this upcoming Packers season as well. And it's because I think the Packers have more question marks than most teams, at least most teams that are looking to contend, as this team is. Doesn't mean that all those question marks won't turn up 10 out of 10, and they might be great, maybe. But I'm not thinking too far off from where Denny and Holman is. It's a good call, Denny. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Richard and Mark, how are we doing, sir?
Hey, Mark. I'm doing good.
Excellent. So just quick on the Packers. First off, I wonder if you were talking about Hafley and how you thought he was good but not great. I wonder if for most fans he passed the eye test for great because they had such low opinions of the guy previous, even though that guy wasn't horrible either, and that any incremental improvement they just saw in with rose-colored glasses and said, "Oh, that makes him great." Whereas it wasn't that much of a leap from the previous coordinator. Does that kind of make sense?
Sure. I think Joe Barry's underrated. I think Jeff Hafley's overrated. I think both of them were fine. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think they were both fine. I think Gannon will be at least that, maybe a little bit better, probably not leaps and bounds better. I think he'll be good. It's just the thing that annoys me, Ridge Runner, when it's like, I got to hear about how great McKinney and Williams and Bullard are and Edgerrin Cooper. It's like, okay, well, if all these guys are so good, I understand the front might not be perfect with the injuries, but they can't suck as badly as they sucked it for stretches on defense last year, especially if Jeff Hafley's so good. You know what I mean? Like, it's not making sense to me.
And then the questions you have about how good this team is going to be this year, the question marks you have on backups and new players coming in, I think that's where the rubber meets the road on coaching should fix that, or coaching should make them look better or at least play a little bit better. And, I think we're all kind of on the fence about LaFleur a little bit because he's had really good talented teams that just hasn't gotten over the hump, especially the last couple of years. And
I think everyone should be on the fence with LaFleur to some degree. You don't have to dislike him, but even the most pro LaFleur people have to understand, like, these last couple of years haven't ended the way you'd want a season to end, even if you're not going to the Super Bowl. I get that not every season can end that way.
Yeah, you can only make so many excuses. I mean, Micah getting hurt really took the wheels off the cart. But okay, then maybe you should have at least won a playoff game or at least won one or two of those last 5 games. Something should have happened better. And I think it is coaching. I mean, I'm not going to chuck LaFleur completely at us, but he's got to evolve. He's got to change and be, again, whether you like how much success he had or not as a head coach.
Yeah.
Perspective on head coaching that might make a difference potentially.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think it should. And I'm just losing you a little bit, Ridge Runner, so I'm going to let you go. That's a good call. I think everyone, to some degree, should have some skepticism of Matt LaFleur. Even if you're the biggest Matt LaFleur, like everything's a spectrum, right? It's not as simple as I don't like Matt LaFleur and I hate everything he does, and I love Matt LaFleur and everything he does is perfect. We're on some place of the Matt LaFleur spectrum, all of us. And I think even the people who are the most pro LaFleur would have to look at these last couple of years and answer for a couple of things or a couple question marks that are, I don't know, not unexplainable, but like, yeah, that's not going to be able to continue if this team's going to take the next step. We're all waiting for them to become this team that we think that they should be, or we're waiting for them to be. And they haven't done it yet in a certain point, and we've discussed this. It's like, okay, this is just going to be who they are. If they come out this year and show the same weaknesses and shortcomings that we saw the last 2 years, well, then we're going to stop waiting for them to take the next step. We're just going to look at them and say, yeah, that's who they are. That's the type of team they are. Sydney from Madison does not like the negative Packers commentary. She texts in 608-321-1670. It's not, we're not being negative. We're just looking at the roster. I think there will be plenty of segments this summer where we'll notice something that we're excited about. Today, I'm looking at the thing big picture, and I don't feel as good going into this season at this moment in time as I have the past couple. Coyote Mike says, Grant, we went to the Brewer game Friday night, stayed until the very end. Always a nice time at Coors, but $48 for two 24-ounce beers and a large bottle of Smart Water. Yeah, man, it just sucks. That's every stadium. Coors looks cool. It looks like a great time. It must be because people keep going to the games for that suckbag team. Appreciate the text. Clemhead Mike says, hi, Grant. I'll be gone tomorrow. Tomorrow's my 51st anniversary, my first day of boot camp. It's also my 51st anniversary, the first time I was woken up at 4 a.m. by a guy smashing a metal garbage can with a bat, calling me a mother effer. That's no way to wake up. So thank you for your service as always, Clemhead. I'm glad that you don't have to wake up to that anymore. You're enjoying retirement, as you say when you call in. The Monday Mailbag coming up next. A couple of miscellaneous thoughts about the weekend, too, that we can work into the final segment.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Because the mail never stops. Charles, they'll be writing to you.
She's Got Mail. That's the name of the movie.
That's it, honey. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more. You got to get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in.
The Monday Mailbag. All questions for consideration. You ask and I will answer. Submit. Send me an email, grantbills21@gmail.com. Tyler in Massachusetts, great weekly question asker. He says, hey, Grant, well, we approach the 250th anniversary of the United States becoming a country. How much do you care on a scale of 1 to 10? Also, with the news of Bucky and Booms bringing lakefront fireworks back to Madison or July 4th, are you a fireworks guy? Tyler in Massachusetts, where all consumer fireworks, including sparklers, firecrackers, and safe and sane novelties, are strictly illegal. I'm not anti-fireworks. I grew up on a lake. Great place to watch fireworks. I mean, as you get older, you just fireworks are like anything. They're like Christmas or, everything. Things lose their magic a little bit. I wish more people stopped shooting I wish we had a clear thing. It's like, all right, at 11, we're done. I don't need the random M80s every 20 minutes until 2 in the morning. No one needs that. I'm not a fireworks guy. I don't think I'll ever buy fireworks and shoot them off myself. Except, maybe one day I have kids and I'll get smallish ones, but I'm never going to be the guy who's I'm going to spend $300 and put on a show. It's just not my thing. How much do I care about the 250th anniversary of the country? It's cool. I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that. It's cool. It's cool. Thomas in La Crosse. What is your favorite kind / go-to whiskey? I got to tour a local whiskey distillery located inside an old church while in Ireland. It's called the Teeling Whiskey Distillery, and I must say they make some pretty dang good whiskey, Thomas in La Crosse. I don't really drink whiskey. More of a brandy man myself. I'm not a liquor snob at all. Just something that's not rail. I don't care what it is. Anytime they ask me at the bar, any preference on gin? No, just not rail. Anything that's not rail. I don't know. Anything that's not rail. So type of whiskey, I like Templeton Rye, I guess. I had a bottle of that not long ago. That does the job. Just anything that doesn't suck. I'm not cultured enough to taste the differences. Clumhead Mike says, do you think the Packers made the mistake of letting McManus go? I think he should have been in camp for competition for SMAC. Competition breeds excellence. Yeah, I mean, if they were going to do it, they should have done it earlier. They could have saved more money. I think they wanted to see how the draft went. I think their plan of being dead set on a rookie kicker on May 8th is a mistake. I think that's the mistake. McManus is a small part of that. I think the larger picture, general direction they've taken is a risk. Doesn't mean it won't work, but I think it's a mistake because it's a risk, and it's a risk that they don't necessarily need to take. Josh says, since I've been watching more Brewer games on TV and radio occasionally, I've been trying to figure out my favorite TV side crew, wondering your favorite duo. I think I've landed on Jeff and Dillard. I like Vinny and Jeff too. Jeff and Lane are my favorite on the radio side. Curious your thoughts. It's funny. I have really not watched many games on TV. I mostly listen. And if I am watching on TV, it's probably on mute and I'm probably listening to something in my headphones while I watch. So I have become, never thought I'd say it, Josh Mauer was just kind of the third guy. Didn't really have a strong opinion on him one way or another. I've really started to enjoy Josh and Lane. I really like those two. They do a good job on the radio. They got a good rapport back and forth. It's entertaining. I have fun. I like those two. I think Jeff is outstanding. I think Tim and Vinny, if you were to combine them into the same broadcaster, they'd be a perfect broadcaster. I sometimes wish Tim would be a little bit more serious with baseball analysis because I think he's incredible at it. And sometimes he likes being the jokester, which is good, but I think there's incredible analysis in that guy. And you hear when he does radio hits, he's on with Bill earlier today. Vinny, I think, is as well. I think Vinny is, dude reads and listens to everything. So he's got all the information. Sometimes it's just, he's very serious. And I think if you like Tim Dillard, you like the laughs and the jokey. And if you like, I prefer Vinny. I like them both. Vinny's analysis is, I think, better, but I think that's because he chooses to be better. I think Tim could do that thing too. He just likes cracking jokes, which is fine. It's not a criticism on either guy, but you asked me about the broadcasters. That's how I read it. Rob in Stoddard says, Grant, we all know how strong the wind in the lacrosse area is. Shit, yeah, of course. Everyone knows that. What do you think when people don't put shopping carts back in the rack and just let the strong winds blow the carts around the lot and try to blame the employees like me? Yeah, you're a festival man, Rob. Also, if you're in Coon Valley fishing next Sunday, come watch the 35ers take on the CCC Blues in Coon Valley at 7. I will not be next weekend. What am I doing? I have a bachelor party next weekend in Green Lake. Never been. Excited to see a new place. Put your shopping carts away, you children. Like, it's just be a serious adult that's responsible for your things. I don't even I'm not someone who obsesses over my car. Don't ding my car. Don't ding my car. Oh, don't touch my car. It's a car. So I'm not saying I want to drive a car that's covered in dings. It's just I'm not going to clutch my pearls if my car gets a little scuffed because it gets bumped by a shopping cart. It's more like you're an adult. Put your cart away. You're being kind of a bad person if you don't put it away. Even if it doesn't ding anyone's car, you are making an employee pick up after you. It's your cart. Put it away. So it's not anything about don't ding my car. I like my car. I would like it to not have dents, but it's more the other thing. It's like grow up and put your cart away. Put your things away. Don't leave crap everywhere. Just as a general, I sound like my dad. Just, people who just leave their stuff everywhere. Just you never put it away. Put your crap away. Shopping cart is one of those things. It's just a little bit of a tell, I think, on people. Put your shopping cart away. Lee in the Western City was at TPC for the AmFam this weekend. He says, after almost getting hit by John Daly and inhaling his secondhand smoke, I napped it out on the ride home Saturday. The White Russian's friend demanded we go out drinking at a house of ill repute in Reedstown, where they have a rubber and silicone battery-operated apparatuses in the claw machine by the pool tables. What's the weirdest object you've seen in a claw machine? Rubber and silicone. Okay, so they have adult toys in the claw machine is what you're saying. The weirdest thing I've ever seen in a claw machine? Dude, what? I can't give you that, but I'll give you the most memorable thing I've seen in a claw machine recently. Kate won one of the Kay Adams Up and Adams Super Bowl hats on Radio Row out of the Kay Adams claw machine. Was very happy for her. She really wanted it. A lot of people were trying to win them. She got it. That's my claw machine take. That's all I got for you. So sorry, but that's what I got. Goose eggs. Appreciate it. This weekend was good. I had my fishing license checked by a warden yesterday for the first time maybe ever in the state of Wisconsin. I've had it checked as an out-of-stater before. So that was exciting. I got to meet my local conservation warden. That was very nice. Had a nice conversation yesterday. And spent some time in beautiful... guys, I'm coming around on Washara County. I guess that's the other takeaway from the weekend. I'm a big fan. Also, Billy Currington was awesome. Kip Moore didn't play She's Mine. What? Billy was great. I'm glad he went after Kip Moore. Billy's always great. Stud. All right, we'll pick this up tomorrow. Enjoy Game 3 of the finals tonight. I can't wait to see the circus that will be. And Brewers in bed, late night. We'll talk about it all tomorrow. Thanks for listening.